Are you not, or is that just me? I am fascinated by bears and the way they hibernate in the winter. Completely fascinated by this whole aspect that they do. All right, so this is how it works. As summer ends, okay, they begin to feel the breeze. They those leaves start to turning, and they know that it's time for us to increase the hunt for food so that they can prepare for winter. So they increase the hunt for food. They're bringing this back to their bear den. So they're going to have a place that they go that they know they're going to hibernate in. That's their bear den. Guess what? Once they build the bear den for the first time, they don't typically move bear dens around unless they feel like that bear den is at risk for hunting. So what does that mean? They do the hardest work first, and then for the subsequent years, they just follow this process. They increase their hunt for food. Okay, during the fall months, the bears eat and drink nearly nonstop. Nearly nonstop. You're like, what in the world is wrong? It is ravishing. The fish and the water and the fish and just eating up everything. Okay, they need the weight to prepare for winter and hibernation. I don't know if I'm saying this right. The process is called hyperphagia. Okay, hopefully I'm saying that right. Not embarrassing myself too bad. All right. Most bears hibernate or den during winter. You say, how long? Watch this. The time span is based off of location. What does that mean? The time span in which they hibernate is based off of how cold and how roofless wherever they live that winter is going to be. It could be weeks, it could be months, depends on location. This is what I want you to understand. Your job is to answer this question. What is my winter? What is the winter in your familial bloodline? Is there a pattern that you see in your bloodline? It hasn't hit you yet, but you see it. You see that all the women have died from breast cancer. You see that all the men die young. You see that most of the mothers don't stick around to raise their kids. They're raised by other women in the family. You see the pattern. You see the winters in your familial bloodline. I'm telling you, because you're hearing me say this, it's on you to put a stop to it so it doesn't come to your house. Okay? If you prepare for winter the right way, you can thrive in winter. Doesn't mean that it's not trying to go around. It's not happening on the outside. But in your living spaces, you're so insulated. Now, when you build, let's say, because we want to think about each category of our life. Let's say in your marriage, right? You've had your coldest winter, all right? And you fasted, you prayed, you went to intense counseling to get yourselves back on track. That's the highest R value that you did to get yourself stabilized, right? But now you still have to have a maintenance plan to be preventative from that winter trying to come back. And you say, well, nope, Tiff, I can't even think about it. This was just the hardest time in our lives. Just the thought of it makes me I just want to give up. I mean, I was suicidal. I get emotional. I felt like I was losing my mind. I just don't even want to imagine the darkest times in my life when it came to me being a mom, or the darkest times in my life when it came to my health or with in my marriage. And I just don't want to. Okay, I understand that. But here's what I want to share with you. Matthew 12. Okay, I've shared this with y'all a lot because this is important. Matthew 12, 43, 45. Okay. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none, restless. Where can the evil spirit rest his bones? Then he says, you know what? Forget all this. I will return to my house from which I came. I'm just going to return home where it's comfortable. And when he comes, God dog it. That when gets me every time. That WHEN in that scripture changed my life. Because I no longer was blindsided by anything. If I know that you reared your ugly head in this category of my life before, I know you want to come back again. I'm not confused on that. I know that's where you seek to devour me. I know that's where you seek to trip me up. Winter is coming. And guess what? He finds when this evil spirit comes back, and when he comes back, when the evil spirit comes back, if he finds it empty, swept, and put in order, then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. And they enter and dwell there. Dwelling is like, I ain't going nowhere. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. What does this tell me? It's inevitable that they come back around. What does this tell me? Winter is coming. It tells me winter is coming. But guess what? I want to be like the bears. Listen, I just love them. They're on the hunt for food, and they eat and drink during all the fall months. They eat and drink nonstop. Why? Because by the time winter comes, baby, you may not have the energy. You must eat and drink nonstop prior to winter. You must read his word and have your foundational scriptures prior to winter. Okay. here's what I love. Here's the good news. Do you know that over time, the bears have evolved so much during the winter season that they thrive in winter? They thrive so much that they typically have their cubs in winter, in hibernation. They literally get pregnant in timing where they'll have their bears in hibernation. Why? Because they prepared so much for winter. It is now the safest, calmest place because they prepared all fall. They prepared. While the other animals were playing and lollygagging, they were eating nonstop. While the other animals were getting into tussles and fighting and just having their little one meal a day, they were eating nonstop. They were freshening up the bear den. They were making sure they were prepared. And they prepared so much that when winter came, they thrived in winter. That they brought new life in hibernation in winter.